Back here on CBS Sports HQ, the Raiders are struggling in a big way. Bottom of the division, sitting at 2-8 on the season, and there was optimism for this team. They had a new head coach in Pete Carroll, a new quarterback in Geno Smith. They draft Ashton Jeanty, Brock Bowers coming off that incredible rookie campaign, and they give Max Crosby this huge deal. But regardless of all those moves, they are still a mess. They have the fewest rush yards, 183, in any four-game span since 1963. After, as mentioned, they draft Ashton Jeanty 6th overall in the 2025 draft. And speaking of the draft, we're already looking ahead into the 2026 NFL draft order as we are entering week 12. It's never too soon, right? And the Raiders are within the top 6 picks again, top 5 specifically. You see it there, only behind the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, and the Jets. So if the season ended today, the Raiders would be in a very similar drafting position as they were a year ago, despite all of the moves that we have seen in the offseason and into this season as well. So let's welcome in somebody who is very familiar with this organization, former CEO of the Raiders, Amy Trask. Amy, there are a lot of areas that need improvements with the Raiders. I just laid out maybe one or two or so, but the lack of run game being one of them. But what are the biggest issues in your eyes, and how can they be fixed?
Well, Jacqueline, you, of course, identified on-field problems, and there are, of course, on-field problems. But there are also a lot of problems off the field, behind the scenes. And many people will assume when I say behind the scenes that I'm referring to Tom Brady, but I'm not. The individual who orchestrated Tom's purchase in the Raiders of the limited partnership interest in the Raiders, Jim Gray, has been working to orchestrate the purchase of an interest in the Raiders since Al was alive and we were in the process of selling a minority interest in the team. Well, he finally orchestrated that purchase, and he is now involved in every aspect, or almost every aspect, of the organization. And this is having an impact on the organization, not only off the field, but on the field. So look, Pete Carroll is a very good head coach. But the problems we're seeing on the field are related to the problems that are rampant throughout the organization. They've got to fix the off-field, behind-the-scenes issues in order to give Pete a chance to be his best, which he can be, and address the problems on the field.
Okay, yeah, it is all intertwined. It is a living, breathing organism, a football team, as you know firsthand. Going to switch gears and talk about a really peculiar situation that I don't think I've ever had to discuss when talking about football. So Giants rookie running back Cam Skattebo, he's on IR dealing with an injury, and he was at Monday Night RAW, this WWE event at MSG. It was involved in some sort of confrontation. I put that in quotes because, of course, WWE, we know it's like the sports entertainment thing, and everyone is seemingly protected and none of it is real, right? But there's two sides to this thing, because I've seen some former NFL players saying, hey, this is how you make sure that your NFL career is short. And then there's the other side of it saying, he's protected, you know, it's not real, he's not actually going to get hurt, it's not a big deal. So Amy, what is your take on the whole thing? Is this okay that an NFL player, who is on IR is involved in this sort of situation?
Well, I understand why there's concern among Giants fans, but as you noted, Jacqueline, he was behind a barrier, precautions were taken. But this issue of players, and this is whether they're coming off an injury or not, participating in what can be deemed risky events, is not unique to Cam. Look, I was the person Al Davis called anytime we'd learn of a player who was going to do something that was deemed risky. We learned of a player who was going to be in a charity basketball game. Amy, don't let him do it. Or a player who was going to go skiing. Amy, get him not to do it. And there I am saying to the player, hey, so wonderful that you're thinking of participating in this charity basketball tournament. Don't. Yeah, skiing, skateboarding, really fun. Don't. And then I'd say, have you considered taking up a musical instrument or maybe writing poetry, because you can't be doing these things right now. And my point in sharing that with you, and Jacqueline, that's exactly how it went. Amy, get him not to do it. And then I'm contacting the player and saying, I need you not to do this. That goes on within organizations. It's not just fans who are concerned. Different teams approach this differently. Some teams are more concerned than others. I worked for a team owner who didn't want players jeopardizing themselves. Whether Cam was really in jeopardy or not, we don't know. Is there a chance something could have happened with the barricade falling down or him getting tossed over it? Sure. And why would you want him doing?
Right, and we have to think about optics too, right? Because that certainly plays a part in the whole thing as well. Obviously not as important as their actual safety. Also some big news coming down with the Giants too. They're still looking for a new head coach after firing Brian Daboll. We know that, of course, and Joe Schoen is leading that search, which from our perspective, Amy, we're thinking, hey, that must mean that they have faith in Joe Schoen, and that is the guy if they're having him lead the search for a new head coach.
Oh, you're absolutely right. If they are going to let him lead the search for a new head coach, they better have confidence in him. So they need to ask themselves, are we confident in Joe? Are we confident that he can do this job and do it well? And if they are at all dubious about that, then why are you letting him lead the search? And maybe you let him sort of dabble and begin a little bit of the searching right now. But why in the world would you let someone make a decision of this import if you haven't decided if he's the right person to do so? And the reason I share that is when I learned that he was leading the search, my conclusion was, okay, John Mara, the Giants, they're confident in Joe. They know he's going to be there. But then a rumor started swirling, and as we all know, rumors aren't necessarily true, but a rumor started swirling that he may not be safe with the Giants. Well, why in the heck are you going to let someone in whom you don't have the confidence to retain lead what is arguably the most important search you will be undertaking?
And we know that market, you're under a microscope no matter what. That's just how it works when you're there in New York, New Jersey, maybe, depending on how you look at it. Amy, we certainly appreciate it, always offering a unique perspective to all the latest headlines and buzz that is going around in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, make sure you check out our Sunday Game Day recap show with Damian Harris, Pete Prisco, Rand Carthon, and Haley Sutton. They have so much fun on here, always discussing all of the latest games, action, all of the things. It is Sunday, 8:20 Eastern Time, right here on CBS Sports HQ.
Quick break for us, but when we return, Shedeur Sanders is set to make his first NFL start this weekend against the team that passed on him in the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders. What should we expect? We tell you next.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.